Today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Now, we all learn to sew a straight line when we first get our sewing machines. But today, I'm going to show you something different. We're going to get curvy using these wonderful rulers by Lori Holt from Bee in My Bonnet. Now, I've got 4 rulers to show you. I've got 2 different projects that I want to show you that I made samples for. And I've got a technique that I'm going to do a demo. It's a packed episode of More Sewing with Michele. Let's get going. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. So we have these wonderful rulers, and it's a set of 4 rulers by Lori Holt and made by Riley Blake. And I love these rulers. There's 4 sizes, 9, 6, 4, and 2 inch. So we have the 9, we have a 6, we have a 4, and a 2 inch. And I'm going to bring the 6 inch one in real close so that hopefully you can see. It's got marks on that ruler, so that way you can do wonderful things with it. And I'll be showing you that a little bit later. But one of the things that I also absolutely love about this ruler set is that they're giving away, when you purchase this, you get a free design of this quilt here. Isn't that cute? I love it. So I love when you purchase something and then you automatically have something to use with it. So if you, get something and you can't really creatively come up with something right away, this one you already have a plan that you can go, because you can download that pattern and go ahead and make the quilt. Designed by Lori Holt. So I love her stuff. I have many of her books. She's just, to me, she's one of the icons of quilting, and especially I love her aesthetics and her use of fabrics. It's just wonderful, and as you know, I love bright, bold colors, and that's kind of what Lori gravitates to too. So with that said, though, I'm going to be showing you 2 different types of things that you can do with a demo, but I also wanted to talk really quick about what you can do with circle rulers. Now, circle rulers, circles, they play a lot into quilt designs. Think of a mandala, all those different circles going around. So you can really utilize them lots of different ways with quilting and also embroidery. Rough edge is wonderful with circles. I'm going to be showing you reverse applique. Now, I could show you just regular applique or needle-turned applique, but we've kind of already talked about those before. What I wanted to show you today is reverse applique and how fun and easy it is to do, and we're going to be using these wonderful rulers today. So another things that you can do, you can use these to make flowers like a posy. We're going to be doing a circular faux patch. So lots of things that you can do with a circle ruler. And it's nice to have something that's designated for your craft room, so you don't have to do what I used to do and run into the kitchen and try to find a plate or a bowl or a cup that's the perfect size. So once you get these rulers, you're already going to have them in place, and they're the perfect sizes. 9, 6, 4, and 2 inches. They're awesome. So let's dive in to all the wonderful things I have to show you with these wonderful rulers. Don't forget, you can always go to mores-sew.com or click on the link in the description where you can purchase these wonderful products that we have today, the circle rulers, a 4-pack of 9, 6, 4, and 2 inch circle rulers. And you can also purchase the additional items that you may need to complete the projects that I'm going to show you today. Now, if you haven't been there recently, we updated the More Sewing with Michele landing page, and it's pretty cool. So now when you go there, you're going to look by episode, and it'll bring up the items that we had for those particular episodes for sale. So we're just making it easier for you to find what you need to complete the wonderful things that we have for you here on More Sewing with Michele. Check it out. Don't forget, mores-sew.com, or click on the link in the description where you can purchase any and all of the items I show you here on More Sewing with Michele. So let's talk about the circular four patch. Now I'm not going to teach you how to sew a basic four patch, but it's one of the most basic quilt blocks that you can do. Basically, I've taken 4 5-inch squares and I just sewed them together. Really basic, super easy. Like I said before, this is pre-cut friendly. So these are from a charm pack that you can see that all coordinated. And I basically sewed them together. Now, let me show you real quick why I love this ruler. Now, if I hold it up real close, you can see that it has lines to find the center and also a center dot here. Now, with that center dot, if you were going to fussy cut something, like my face, and you wanted it straight smack dab in the middle, that's what you would use that dot for, to make sure that something's in the middle. And then these lines, I'm going to line up with the seams that I just sewed together. So you can see now those line up with the seams of your four patch. So I'm going to put that down and I'm going to get ready to cut. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about some of the other additional tools that are going to help make this run really smooth. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you have a 28mm rotary cutter. The small blade is going to make it super easy to go around this curve. And let me tell you, if you were to try to use your 45 or your larger rotary blades, it's going to get chunky and choppy and it just doesn't go smooth. You want this small 28mm rotary cutter to get the job done on this one. And then, how many times have I shown this? The professional tool turner. It just goes to show you how much I use mine and how wonderful they are. So if you haven't purchased one of these yet, you're going to want to pick up the professional tool turner. And then I've got my serrated scissors that I just love. And then you're going to want some pins. The other thing that you're going to want for this four patch that we're doing that has a circle is you're going to want some lightweight interfacing or stabilizer. Now, I like to use my scraps, and I've done just that. So I had a leftover piece. I went ahead and cut it with my rotary cutter and my wonderful 9-inch circle ruler. So now let me get back to actually cutting this one. So I'm going to line up my ruler on my seam lines, and then using my rotary cutter, I'm going to cut around. Give me just a second and I'll get this done. Now, one of the things that I like to do, especially when I'm doing a shape and I'm doing rotary cutting, is before I move that ruler, I like to lift up the fabric on the outside to make sure that it has cut straight through. And there we go. All the scraps put away. And now you can see I've got this wonderful, perfectly round four patch. So with that, I'm going to take a stabilizer, like I said, the scrap stabilizer. I went ahead and pre-cut that as well. And I'm going to line it up using my pins, and I'm going to pin all the way around. And as you know me, I am a renegade, and I like to pin when it is absolutely necessary. And sewing around something round or that's a little bit difficult is one of those times when it is absolutely necessary for me. Now, I'm only pinning about every 3 inches, so I'm not going super close. I just want to make sure that nothing shifts and gets off kilter. So, and keep in mind to keep your tips away from the sides. And with that said, I've got this completely done. Now on my machine, you'll notice that I have my 1/4 inch foot with the flange set up on the machine here. Whoops. And then I also have on here, I have my 1/4 inch button pressed so that I'm going to have a perfect 1/4 inch seam all the way around. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the speed of my machine down to about half. When you are sewing around something that you're not used to, and believe me, sewing curves is not a normal type of sewing, you want to drop your speed down to make sure that you're more precise. Once you feel confident, you can bump that up again. But what I'm going to do is slowly shimmy it around. So let me put this in. I'm going to drop my foot and I'm going to get to stitching, and I'll stop and come back in just a second. So I'm just slowly pivoting around. And then I'm going to stop so you can see the process that I did. Now, can I continue this? I'm going to bump up the speed on this baby and finish it up in just in a flash here. But you may want to continue all the way around yours to make sure that you go slow and it stays at that 1/4 inch. Okay, and just like that, I've got it completely sewn together. Let me take out my pins, and I'll show you what you're going to do next to make this circular 4-patch. Okay, so you can see I've got it completely sewn on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the interfacing from the fabric and just kind of pull it apart like this. I'm going to grab all of this together, and using my wonderful serrated scissors, I'm going to trim that top. And what that's going to do is create an opening there. Super fast and easy there. And then I'm going to birth it. I'm going to take this, pull the fabrics to the other side, and just kind of give it a nice little turning there. But then, why I love the professional tool turner, because it does just such a great job. Now I'm going to basically slide it along the edge here. And what it does is it simply pops that seam out so that it'll lay nice and flat. Continuing all the way around. And I think we did it. So then I would give it a nice press, but look how cute that is. And super fast, super easy. So you can do them, and keep in mind we have the 9, the 6, the 4, and the 2 inch. So you can make lots of different sizes with this. I think it would be cute using the 4-patch and then just adding little ones that are a solid that all match from a charm pack. Wouldn't that be fun? But anyways, let me show you here. I've got a few more. I have this one that's perfectly pressed, so you can see with blues. And then on this one, this actually has my scrap stabilizer had fusible. So how cool is that? You could use that and then press it onto a base fabric, and it's going to be pre-fused, so you don't have to use pins when you put it down. But I've got a few. I've got a pair. I have another one with the same fabric line here, and then of course the one that I just did. So that's how easy and fast it is, and I'm sure you can already think of, oh my gosh, what a fun and creative way to use these wonderful rulers to make a circular 4-patch. Now let me show you a little bit about reverse applique and why I love that technique too. So let me show you another thing you can do with these wonderful rulers. Like I said, 4 sizes, 9, 6, 4, and 2 inch. I'm going to do reverse applique. Now reverse applique, like I said before, I've shown you applique before, but I'm going to show you something a little bit different that I haven't shown you. And basically on just a piece of fabric, I've went ahead and I've, for the sake of time, just went ahead and made like Swiss cheese cuts here on my white fabric. And just using my different sizes, I went ahead and cut with the rotary cutter. I'm going to pull one more out, line it up here, expose my blade, and cut around again. And keep in mind, go slow if you're not comfortable. You want to make sure, especially on these cuts, that you line that blade right up with the side of the ruler. And that way you can make sure that everything is precise. And like I said, I like to pull it away before removing my template or my ruler. Okay, so you can always save this and use it for whatever you want. But here's the fun thing about reverse applique now. So it looks kind of like Swiss cheese. Let me put my rulers aside here. And always close your rotary cutter blade. I'm going to put some fabrics underneath. And this is where the fun happens. So if you add fabric underneath, you're going to see that show through on the top. So this is just a scrap to give you kind of an idea. But look and see, if I was to take something a little bit more vibrant and lay this on top, you're going to see where, oh my gosh, that is so cool. Line it on top, and this is where you get the reverse applique part of it. So on my sample that I have made, I went ahead and did this. I did a full piece underneath, so that way you can see here. Look how cool that is. You know what? Let me show you one more piece of fabric. This is a really fun, bright, bold batik. Let me lay this out and put it on there. Okay, so we've got the whole fabric covering there. Let me line my little Swiss cheese for reverse applique, and you can see as I lay this down, get everything untwisted. How much fun is that? So you would then simply attach these two together, add your batting, and you've got a really fun and creative applique. Reverse meaning the fabric underneath is whole, the top piece is cut out. Now, what I like to do, you could do needle turn on this. I love rough edge, so this to me screams a rough edge. So let's talk about the sample that I have. Now, it's gonna be in back of me, so I'm gonna stop the video so that I can talk about the sample, and then I'm also gonna talk about the other sample I made for the 4-patch. 1 second. Okay, so here is a close-up of this reverse applique that I made. And I'm going to show a video while I talk, but you can see that I used just a full piece of fabric on this quilt. I used that white fabric on top, and then I just stitched around. It was so much fun, and it's one of these quilts that I've wanted to make for a long time. I've done some smaller ones that are reverse applique, but this one's a little bit bigger, and I simply used my adhesive, attached the two together, making sure everything aligned perfectly, and then the fun part was doing the free motion or straight line quilting around, and you can see all I did was mimic the circles. So just a fun project. This is perfect for a baby quilt. If you look closely though on here, you can see that I do have the rough edge here, and I absolutely love that look. So this is the close-up of the sample I made of the reverse applique with a rough edge to the center of it. Now let me talk a little bit about the other one, the 4-patch. Now this sample, you can see I used some reds and some white, and if we go to the video of it, you can see I simply did some straight line quilting in the back of it, and then I added those 3 circular 4 patches on top and made this really pretty table runner. And if you look closely, the stitching is pretty basic. Anyone can do this. This is a very fun project. Perfect if you are going to make a bunch of gifts, maybe for the holidays or for your friends for birthdays. You know, pull out some fun fabrics and you can make a really cool gift to give away, and everyone loves a table runner. Now if you look closely on the stitching here, I simply did 2 stitches around each circle, and then I also did what I call stitching around the ditch, because stitching in the ditch can be so problematic, but if you go right next to that ditch, it always works out perfect for me. So super fun, super easy. Those are the 2 things that I designed for this one, for using those wonderful Lori Holt rulers. and you're going to have a blast with them too. Okay, so it's a wrap for the circle rulers. I love, once again, these Lori Holt circle rulers. You're going to find so many things to do with them. Keep in mind, you can always do the reverse applique that I have in the back, or that wonderful circular 4-patch that I showed you today. But there are so many other things that you can do with this ruler. It's been my pleasure once again to have you join me here for more Sewing with Michele. Don't forget to click on the link in the description or go to moors-sew.com, where you can pick up these wonderful rulers and also the other items to create what I showed you today. I hope you have a wonderful week, and until next week, bye-bye!